Hello there. It's wonderful to have you here tonight. Your brain, this 3 pounds universe inside your skull, is about to embark on one of its most fascinating journeys, the drift into dreams. Tonight, we'll explore together the gentle science of how your mind transforms waking thoughts into sleeping visions and why this mysterious music process happens every single night. Welcome to Sleepy Science 9 Night. Wherever you are right now, perhaps with the soft glow of evening light fading outside or wrapped in the quiet darkness of night, allow yourself to settle into this shared moment of curiosity. We'll discover 100 remarkable truths about your dreaming brain, from the rhythmic waves that pulse through your neurons to the ancient cleaning systems that wash through your mind while you sleep, to the theater of consciousness where dreams bloom like flowers in the darkness. If this gentle journey through the mysteries of your mind brings you peace tonight, music, a soft like or share, could help another restless soul discover these calming scientific stories. Music too, it helps more curious minds drift this way, one sleepy soul at a time. We'd be grateful for now. Just let your shoulders soften. Let your breathing fall into its own natural rhythm. Music, there's nothing you need to solve tonight. No mysteries you must unravel. Imagine yourself floating in a space of gentle curiosity where scientific facts become bedtime stories and knowledge becomes a pathway to rest. Close your eyes and take music a deep breath. You're part of an endless stream of consciousness where thoughts bloom and dissolve like waves on a gentle shore, moving without boundaries, without destination. Let go of all limits. Let your mind drift through music, the vast network of sleeping minds across the world, all beginning their nightly journey into dreams. Your brain never truly sleeps. While you rest peacefully in bed, your brain remains remarkably active, consuming about 20% of your body's energy, even during deep sleep. Music, this is only slightly less than when you're fully awake and alert. Modern brain imaging reveals that certain regions actually become more active during sleep than during wakefulness. Your brain uses this quiet time to perform essential maintenance, consolidating memories, clearing waste products, and preparing music for the next day. Scientists now understand that what we call sleep music is actually a highly organized, purposeful state where your brain works differently, not less. The sleeping brain is like a bustling city after dark. The lights may be dim, but essential work continues. Behind the scenes, dreams occur in all mammals with developed music brains. Researchers have confirmed through electrophilography that cats, dogs, elephants, and even dolphins experience REM sleep, characterized by rapid eye movements and brain activity patterns similar to human dreaming. Laboratory studies show that rats exhibit the same theta wave patterns during REM sleep that correlate with dreaming in humans. When researchers recorded neural activity in rat brains during maze-running tasks, they later observed nearly identical patterns during REM sleep, suggesting the animals were replaying their daily experiences. This reveals that dreaming isn't uniquely human, but represents a fundamental process shared across species, possibly serving similar memory and emotional processing functions throughout the animal kingdom. Building on this foundation, your brain produces distinct electrical waves during different sleep stages, creating a symphony of neural rhythms throughout the night. Beta waves vibrating at 13 to 30 hertz dominate when you're awake and alert. As you begin to relax, alpha waves take over at 8 to 12 music hertz, like a gentle transition into quiet. During light sleep, theta waves slow to 4 to 8 hertz, carrying you deeper into rest. Finally, delta waves, the slowest at 0.5 to 4 hertz, emerge during deep sleep like the steady rhythm of ocean swells. Each wave type serves a purpose. Theta waves help with memory consolidation, while delta waves trigger physical restoration and growth. Hormone release. These rhythmic patterns have remained consistent across all human cultures studied. The glymphatic system, discovered only in 2012, represents one of the brain's most important nighttime functions. This network of fluid channels works like the brain's washing machine, using cerebros, spinal fluid, to rinse away metabolic debris that accumulates during waking hours. Astrocytes shrink by up to 60%, significantly increasing the space available for cerebrospinal fluid to flow through brain tissue and carry away proteins associated with Alzheimer's music disease. Research published in 2025 shows that the frequency of norepinephrine oscillations during non-REM sleep directly predicts how efficiently this cleaning system operates. Poor sleep compromises this process, allowing toxic proteins to build up over time. This fluid transport system is most active during music. Deep, slow-wave sleep phases. Your brain's memory consolidation during sleep follows music, a precise, almost choreographed process. During slow-wave sleep, the hippocampus, your brain's memory center, music, repeatedly replays the day's experiences in compressed, accelerated patterns. These replay events, occurring hundreds of times faster than the original experiences, help transfer important information from temporary storage to long-term memory networks in the cortex. Recent studies using high-resolution brain imaging show that memories deemed important are strengthened through this process, while irrelevant details are allowed to fade. This nightly editing process explains why you remember meaningful conversations but forget mundane details like what color shirt someone wore. Your sleeping brain acts as both librarian and curator, carefully organizing the day's experiences. Music. Sleep, where most vivid dreaming occurs, begins approximately 90 minutes after you fall asleep and follows a predictable pattern throughout the night. REM periods start brief, lasting only 5 to 10 minutes, then gradually lengthen with each cycle. By morning, REM phases, music, can extend 30 to 40 minutes, which explains why you often remember dreams from just before waking. During REM sleep, your brain temperature regulation shuts down temporarily, making you essentially cold-blooded like a reptile. For brief periods, your voluntary muscles become paralyzed, except music for the diaphragm and eyes, preventing you from acting out dreams. This temporary paralysis sometimes lingers briefly. Music upon waking, creating the sensation of being unable to move that some people experience. The brain's dream content appears to be influenced by the activation of specific neural networks rather than random firing. Research from 2024, using the world's largest dream database, analyzing over 600 sleep recordings, music from 505 people across 20 different studies, reveals clear patterns in dream generation. Music, the limbic system, particularly the amygdala and hippocampus, shows heightened music activity during dreaming, while the prefrontal cortex, responsible for logical thinking, becomes less active. This explains why dreams feel emotionally intense but often lack logical consistency. The visual cortex remains highly active during dreams even though your eyes are closed, suggesting that dream imagery is music generated internally rather than processed from external input. Sleep music spindles, those brief bursts of 12 to 14 hertz brain activity lasting 1 to 2 seconds, play a crucial role in protecting your sleep music and enhancing memory formation. These spindles are generated by the thalamus, your brain's relay station, and appear on EEG recordings. Music, like tiny spikes interrupting the steady theta waves of stage 2 sleep. People who produce more sleep spindles are better at sleeping through disturbances, music, and show improved memory performance the next day. Research indicates that sleep spindles help gate sensory information, preventing external sounds and sensations from reaching consciousness and disrupting sleep. The number and quality of sleep spindles decline with age, which may explain why older adults are more easily awakened and why memory consolidation becomes less efficient over time. your brain's neurotransmitter balance shifts substantially during sleep, creating the chemical foundation for dream experiences. During REM sleep, levels of norepinephrine, serotonin, and histamine, neurotransmitters associated with attention, music, logic, and wakefulness, drop to nearly zero. Meanwhile, acetylcholine levels remain high, promoting the vivid, often bizarre, imagery characteristic of dreams. This neurochemical shift explains why dream logic feels perfectly reasonable within the music dream, but seems strange upon waking. The absence of norepinephrine impairs your ability to form new memories during dreams, which is why dream details fade so quickly. After awakening, this chemical dance repeats throughout the night, creating the cycles that allow for both restorative non-REM sleep and creative dreaming. The discovery of lucid dreaming, becoming aware that you're dreaming while still asleep, has revolutionized our understanding of consciousness during music sleep. Brain imaging studies published in 2025 show that lucid dreamers exhibit increased music communication between brain regions typically associated with self-awareness and logical thinking. During lucid dreams, the prefrontal cortex becomes more active than in regular dreams, allowing for rational thought and decision-making within the dream state. Researchers can now communicate with lucid dreamers during REM sleep music through prearranged eye movement signals, creating a unique window into the dreaming mind. This research reveals that consciousness, music, exists on a spectrum rather than being simply on or off with lucid dreaming. Music representing a hybrid state between sleep and wakefulness. The brain's music default mode network, a system of interconnected regions active. Music during rest and introspection plays a significant role in dream content and structure. This network, which includes the medial prefrontal cortex, posterior cingulate cortex, music and angular gyrus, becomes highly active during REM sleep. The default mode network is associated with self-referential thinking, autobiographical memory, and imagining future scenarios, all elements commonly found in dreams. When this network malfunctions due to neurological conditions, people often report changes in dream content and music frequency. The network's activity during sleep may explain why dreams often feature yourself music as the central character and frequently incorporate memories from your personal past. Even in bizarre or fantastical contexts, temperature regulation in your brain follows a precise circadian rhythm that directly influences sleep quality. Music and dream patterns. Your core body temperature naturally drops 1 to 2 degrees F in the evening, signaling to your brain that it's time to sleep. This temperature decrease affects the firing patterns of neurons and influences the depth of sleep stages. During REM sleep, your brain's temperature regulation temporarily shuts down, making you briefly cold-blooded. Research shows that people sleeping in cooler environments, around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, experience more efficient sleep cycles and often report more vivid dreams. The brain's temperature-sensitive neurons in the hypothalamus, music act like an internal thermostat, coordinating sleep timing with your body's natural thermal rhythms. The phenomenon of sleep paralysis, while often frightening, reveals important mechanisms about how your brain protects you during REM sleep. Music. During dreams, your brain stem actively inhibits motor neurons, essentially disconnecting your brain from your voluntary muscles except for the diaphragm and eyes. This paralysis prevents you from acting out dreams and potentially injuring yourself. Sometimes, this paralysis lingers briefly, music, as you transition to wakefulness, creating the temporary inability to move that characterizes music. Sleep paralysis. The brain regions responsible for this paralysis, the ventromedial medulla and sublateral nucleus, represents some of the most ancient parts of the mammalian brain. This suggests that the ability to dream safely while immobilized evolved very early in mammalian development. Your brain processes emotional memories differently during sleep than during wakefulness, often reducing their emotional intensity while preserving important information. the amygdala. Music, your brain's alarm system, remains active during REM sleep, but operates under different neurochemical conditions than when awake. The stress hormone, cortisol, music is naturally at its lowest levels during the first half of the night, creating an optimal environment for emotional memory processing. Studies show that emotional memories processed during sleep often become less distressing while retaining their factual content, suggesting that sleep serves as natural therapy for emotional trauma. This process may explain why the phrase "sleep on it" has wisdom. Your brain literally does work through emotional challenges during sleep. The brain's visual cortex remains remarkably active during music dreams, even though your eyes are closed and no light enters them. Advanced brain imaging reveals that the same regions that process visual information when awake light up during REM sleep, particularly areas responsible for motion, color, and spatial processing. This internal visual activation explains why dreams often contain rich music, detailed imagery that can seem as vivid as waking sight. The visual experiences in dreams, music are entirely generated by your brain's internal processes rather than external sensory input. Interestingly, people who are born blind experience dreams primarily through sound, touch, and emotion, while those who lose sight later in life continue to experience visual dreams, suggesting the brain maintains its capacity for internal imagery even without ongoing visual input. K-complexes, those large, sharp waves that appear on sleep recordings during music stage 2 sleep, serve as your brain's security system against unwanted awakenings. These high-amplitude bursts of electrical activity, lasting about 1 second, often occur in response to external sounds or stimuli that aren't quite strong enough to wake you. They represent your brain's attempt to maintain sleep while still monitoring the environment for truly important sounds like a baby crying or smoke alarm. K-complexes are generated by the thalamus and cortex working together, creating a brief checking process that evaluates whether a stimulus requires awakening. People who produce more K-complexes are generally better at maintaining sleep in noisy environments and report feeling more rested despite music. External disturbances. The pineal gland, a tiny pine cone-shaped structure deep in your brain, acts as your internal clock by producing melatonin in response, music, to darkness. This ancient gland, sometimes called the third eye, contains light-sensitive cells similar to those found in the eyes of some reptiles, music, and fish. As daylight fades, your pineal gland begins releasing melatonin into your bloodstream, typically starting around 900 p.m. In most adults, this hormone doesn't directly cause sleep, but rather signals to your entire body that nighttime has arrived and sleep music should follow. Melatonin levels peak around 3:00 a.m., then gradually decline toward morning. The pineal music gland's sensitivity to light explains why exposure to bright screens before bedtime can disrupt sleep. Artificial light suppresses melatonin production and confuses your brain's internal clock. Your brain's language centers show fascinating changes during sleep and dreams, often creating the nonsensical or poetic speech patterns characteristic music of dream conversations. The left hemisphere regions typically responsible for language production and comprehension. Music, including Broca's and Wernicke's areas, show altered activity music patterns during REM sleep. This may explain why dream conversations often feel meaningful in the moment but seem strange or incomplete when recalled after waking. Research indicates that the brain's language processing during dreams relies more heavily on emotional and associative connections rather than logical grammar and syntax. Some people report having complex conversations in foreign languages they barely know while awake, suggesting that sleep may unlock different pathways for language processing. The circadian rhythm that governs your sleep-wake cycle is controlled by a group of about 20,000 neurons in your hypothalamus called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This tiny brain region, smaller than a grain of rice, acts as your body's master clock, coordinating sleep timing with countless other biological processes. These neurons have an intrinsic rhythm of approximately 24 and 4 hours, which is why people isolated from daylight cues, music, naturally drift toward a slightly longer day. The suprachiasmatic nucleus receives direct input from specialized retinal cells that detect light levels, allowing it to synchronize with the Earth's rotation. This connection explains why shift work and jet lag feels so disruptive. You're literally fighting against your brain's internal timekeeper. Sleep deprivation affects your brain's decision-making abilities in ways that mimic the effects of alcohol intoxication. After staying awake for 18 hours, your brain's performance becomes equivalent to having a blood alcohol content of 0.05%. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for judgment, impulse control, and rational thinking, is particularly vulnerable to sleep loss. Functional brain imaging. Music shows that sleep-deprived brains rely more heavily on emotional processing centers when making decisions, leading to increased risk-taking and decreased music consideration of consequences. This neural shift explains why people make poor music choices when tired and why important decisions are often best postponed until after a good night's sleep. The brain's ability to weigh options rationally deteriorates progressively with continued sleep loss. Recent research reveals that your brain has a built-in prediction system that operates during both waking and sleeping states, constantly generating expectations about future events. Music during dreams. This predictive processing may explain why dream narratives often have a sense of logical flow despite music containing impossible or bizarre elements. The brain's predictive networks, including the anterior cingulate and prefrontal music cortex, remain active during REM sleep, but operate under different rules than when awake. Studies music suggests that dreams may serve as a practice arena where your brain tests different scenarios and responses without real-world consequences. This dream simulation may help prepare you for challenging situations or process complex emotional scenarios in a safe music environment. The brain's cellular renewal system becomes up to 60% more active during music sleep, particularly during the deep slow wave phases. Cerebrospinal fluid flows more rapidly through brain tissue when neurons are less active, carrying away metabolic byproducts that accumulate during waking hours. This increased clearance includes amyloid beta and music tau proteins, both associated with Alzheimer's disease when they build up excessively. Recent studies show that people who consistently get poor quality sleep have higher levels of these potentially harmful proteins in their brains. This enhanced waste transport during sleep may be one reason why chronic sleep deprivation is associated with increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases. Your brain literally cleans itself most effectively while you sleep. The neural networks involved in creativity and problem-solving show unique activation patterns during REM sleep that differ markedly from both wakefulness and non-REM sleep. The brain regions associated with associative thinking and novel connections become highly active, while areas responsible for logical constraint and criticism become less influential. This neurochemical environment may explain why creative insights often emerge after sleep, or why solutions to complex problems sometimes appear in dreams. Historical accounts describe numerous scientific breakthroughs and artistic creations that originated in dreams, from Dmitri Mendel's periodic table to Keith Richards' guitar riff for satisfaction. The dreaming brain appears to excel at forming unexpected connections between disparate ideas. Unconstrained music by the logical limitations that govern waking thought. Your brain's music sense of time becomes fundamentally altered during sleep. With dream music, experiences that feel like hours, occurring in minutes of real time. The neural music mechanisms that track temporal duration, primarily located in the suprachiasmatic nucleus and cerebellar circuits, operate differently. Music during REM sleep, without external time, cues and with altered neurochemistry. The brain's internal clock loses its normal calibration. Research using lucid dreamers who can signal researchers during dreams shows that subjective dream time often expands significantly compared to actual sleep duration. This temporal distortion may serve as an adaptive function, allowing the brain to process more information and scenarios than would be possible if dreams occurred in real time. The elastic nature of dream time remains one of the most mysterious aspects of sleep consciousness. So yes, your brains drift into dreams. Music represents one of the most sophisticated and essential processes that occurs in any living system. Far from being a passive shutdown, sleep engages specialized neural networks, music, chemical cascades, and cellular mechanisms that have evolved over millions of years. The journey from waking consciousness through the stages of sleep to the vivid theater of dreams involves precise music timing, complex chemistry, and elegant neural choreography. Your brain, music, transforms memories, processes emotions, clears waste, and explores creative possibilities, all while you rest peacefully, unaware of the remarkable biological symphony playing out inside your skull. As we'll discover, this nightly transformation is not just beneficial, but absolutely essential. Music for human consciousness and survival. Let's pause here and notice your body as you breathe out slowly. Appreciate each tiny cell inside you, each neuron firing gently as your brain prepares for rest. Trillions of organisms working in silence, heart beating, lungs breathing, neurons connecting, all without your command. Notice the gentle sensations on your skin, in your muscles, along your spine. You are a complete ecosystem, diverse, self-balancing, preparing for its nightly renewal. Your brain, this 3-pound universe, is already beginning its transition into deeper music rest. Now we continue our journey into sleep science. Continuing our exploration, sleep spindles reveal themselves as one of the brain's most elegant protective mechanisms. These characteristic bursts of brain activity are generated by the rhythmic firing of neurons in your thalamus. Sleep spindles typically occur every 3 to 10 seconds and represent one of the brain's most consistent music and recognizable patterns. They're created when thalamic reticular neurons release the neurotransmitter GABA in music synchronized bursts, temporarily inhibiting sensory information from reaching the cortex. This creates a protective barrier that helps maintain sleep while still allowing the brain to music monitor for important environmental changes. Research shows that people with more sleep spindles throughout the night report better sleep quality and perform better on memory tests the following day. The frequency and amplitude of sleep spindles decline with age, potentially contributing to the lighter, more fragmented sleep patterns, music common in older adults. The brain's default mode network, which becomes highly active during rest and introspection. Music, when awake, undergoes fascinating changes during the transition to sleep. This network, connecting the medial prefrontal cortex, posterior cingulate cortex, and angular gyrus, typically engages in self-referential thinking and mental time. Music travel. During the descent into sleep, the default mode network's connectivity, music patterns shift substantially, becoming less coherent and more fragmented. This dissolution of organized self-referential thinking may represent the neurological moment when conscious awareness fades and sleep begins. Understanding these network changes helps explain why falling asleep often involves a gradual loss of coherent thought replaced by the disconnected images and sensations that characterize the transition between wakefulness and dreams. Temperature regulation in your brain becomes increasingly important as you progress through sleep stages. The hypothalamus contains specialized thermosensitive neurons that act like biological thermostats, responding to even small changes in brain temperature. Music. During slow-wave sleep, your core body temperature drops by 1 to 2 degrees. Fahrenheit, which actually helps deepen sleep by reducing metabolic activity in non-essential brain regions. This temperature drop is so consistent that scientists can predict sleep stages partly based on brain temperature measurements. The cooling effect is enhanced by increased blood flow to the extremities, which is why your hands and feet may feel warm as you become sleepy. Music. This thermoregulatory process is disrupted during REM sleep, when temperature control temporarily shuts down. Building upon the brain's internal visual activity, the visual processing centers remain remarkably active during sleep, even though your eyes are closed and no external light reaches the retina. During REM sleep, the primary visual cortex located in the occipital lobe shows activation levels comparable to or even higher than during waking vision. This explains why dream imagery can seem so vivid and detailed, complete with colors, movement, and spatial relationships. Music, the brain, essentially creates a virtual reality experience using stored visual memories and neural patterns music developed through lifetime experience. Studies of people born blind reveal that their dreams rely primarily on auditory, tactile, and emotional experiences, demonstrating that dream content adapts to each individual's sensory capabilities. The brain's ability, music, to generate complex visual experiences without external input showcases its remarkable capacity for internal simulation. Your brain's memory consolidation system operates like a sophisticated filing system during sleep. Music with different stages serving distinct organizational functions. During slow-wave sleep, the hippocampus repeatedly reactivates music recent memories, essentially replaying the day's experiences in accelerated, compressed sequences. These replay events occur during sharp wave ripples, brief high-frequency oscillations that coordinate music, communication between the hippocampus and cortex. Research using electrode recordings shows that neurons fire in nearly identical patterns during sleep. Music replay as they did during original learning, but hundreds of times faster. This accelerated music replay allows the brain to review vast amounts of daily experience quickly, deciding which memories deserve long-term storage and which can be safely forgotten. The process literally strengthens important neural pathways while allowing irrelevant connections to weaken. The brain's waste clearance network music follows a precise rhythm that synchronizes with your sleep stages, becoming most active during the deep, slow-wave phases of non-REM sleep. Music. During these periods, the supporting brain cells called ascites contract significantly, expanding the spaces available for cerebrospinal fluid to flow through brain tissue. This fluid carries away metabolic waste, products that accumulate during waking hours, including proteins associated with neurodegenerative diseases. The rhythm of this cleaning activity is controlled by the neurotransmitter norepinephrine. Music, which decreases during deep sleep, allowing brain cells to contract and creating wider channels for waste removal. Research published in 2025 shows that disrupting this natural rhythm through sleep fragmentation can impair waste clearance for days afterward, highlighting sleep's critical role in brain health maintenance. Sleep paralysis during REM sleep is orchestrated by specific neurons in your brainstem. Music that actively inhibit motor commands from reaching your muscles. The ventromedial medulla and sublater dorsal nucleus. Music release neurotransmitters that essentially disconnect your brain from your voluntary muscle control, except for the diaphragm and eye muscles. This paralysis serves a crucial protective function, preventing you from physically acting out dreams and potentially injuring yourself or others. The mechanism is so effective that even intense music, dream activities like running or fighting produce no physical movement. Sometimes this paralysis persists. Music briefly as you wake up, creating the temporary inability to move that characterizes sleep paralysis episodes. This ancient protective system demonstrates how evolution has solved the challenge of allowing vivid mental experiences, music, while maintaining physical safety. The brain's emotional processing centers undergo profound changes during REM, sleep, that may serve important psychological functions. The amygdala, your brain's alarm system for fear, music, and emotional arousal, remains highly active during dreams, but operates in a significantly different neurochemical environment than during wakefulness. Stress hormones like cortisol reach their lowest levels during the first half of the night, creating optimal conditions for processing emotional memories without overwhelming anxiety. Research suggests that REM sleep serves as a form of overnight therapy, allowing the brain to work through emotional experiences in a safe, low-stress environment. This process, music, may explain why traumatic memories often lose their emotional intensity after good sleep, while still preserving important music, factual information. Your sleeping brain provides natural, emotional regulation and healing. The discovery of theta waves during meditation and light sleep reveals important connections between conscious relaxation practices and natural sleep processes. Theta waves oscillating at 4 to 8 Hz appear prominently during stage 1 sleep, but also during deep meditation, creative music states, and moments of profound relaxation. These waves seem to facilitate the formation of new neural connections and enhance communication between different brain regions. People who meditate regularly often show increased theta activity and report easier transitions into sleep and more vivid dreams. The theta state appears to represent a bridge between conscious awareness and unconscious processing, allowing access to creative insights and emotional processing that may be harder to reach during fully alert waking states. This natural rhythm connects, clears throat, ancient practices with modern sleep science. Your brain's circadian clock involves not just the central music timekeeper in the hypothalamus, but also peripheral clocks located throughout your body and brain. Recent research reveals that individual brain regions from the cortex to the cerebellum contain their own molecular clocks that oscillate on roughly 24-hour cycles. These peripheral clocks are coordinated by the master clock in the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Music, but can operate somewhat independently, creating complex temporal patterns throughout your nervous system. When these clocks become desynchronized due to shift work, jet lag, or irregular sleep schedules, sleep quality suffers and cognitive performance declines. The brain's temporal organization influences everything from neurotransmitter release to gene music expression, making consistent sleep timing crucial for optimal brain function. Your music brain literally keeps time at multiple levels simultaneously. The phenomenon of sleep inertia, that groggy, disoriented music feeling when you first wake up, reflects your brain's complex transition between different states of music consciousness. Upon awakening, clears throat. Certain brain regions come online faster than others, creating a temporary mismatch in neural activity patterns. The prefrontal cortex, music responsible for executive function and decision-making, is particularly slow to reach full alertness, which explains why music, judgment, and performance are impaired immediately after waking. Sleep inertia is most pronounced when you wake during slow-wave sleep phases, when delta waves dominate brain activity. The severity and duration of sleep inertia can last from minutes to hours depending on sleep stage at music awakening, prior sleep debt, and individual circadian timing. This transition period represents your brain gradually reassembling the complex neural networks required for full waking consciousness. Advanced brain imaging techniques have revealed that different regions of your brain can be in different music sleep states simultaneously, a phenomenon called local sleep. During what appears to be wakefulness, some brain areas may exhibit sleep music-like activity patterns while others remain alert and active. This discovery helps explain why you can sometimes feel tired and make poor decisions even when you seem awake. Parts of your brain may actually be asleep. Local sleep patterns become more common with sleep deprivation. Music and may represent the brain's attempt to achieve necessary rest. Even during wakefulness, research shows that specific brain networks can cycle in and out of sleep-like states every few seconds during sleep deprivation, creating a mosaic of consciousness levels across different brain regions. This challenges our understanding of sleep and wakefulness as distinct, unified states. The brain's neurotransmitter systems orchestrates sleep and wake states through precisely timed chemical cascades that have evolved over millions of years. Adenosine, sometimes called the sleep chemical, accumulates in your brain during wakefulness as neurons consume energy and break down ATP. Asmitini. Levels rise throughout the day. You feel increasingly sleepy. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine receptors. Music, temporarily masking tiredness without actually clearing the accumulated adenosine during sleep, particularly slow-wave music. Sleep. Adenosine levels decrease as your brain's metabolic activity slows and clearance systems become more active. Other neurotransmitters, including GABA, serotonin, and dopamine, follow their own intricate schedules, creating the complex neurochemical symphony that governs your daily rhythm of alertness and rest. These chemical cycles influence not just sleepiness but also mood, memory, music, and cognitive performance. The brain's capacity for neuroplasticity, its ability to reorganize and form new neural connections, is markedly enhanced during sleep. Music. During slow-wave sleep, the brain undergoes a process called synaptic homeostasis, where the strength of neural connections is adjusted based on recent experience and learning. Connections that were strongly activated during the day are preserved and strengthened, while weaker connections are pruned away. This process helps optimize neural networks for efficiency and prevents the brain from becoming oversaturated with information. Research shows that skills, music, practice before sleep show greater improvement compared to the same amount of practice without intervening. Sleep. The brain essentially edits its own wiring each night, keeping what's important and discarding what's not, making you more efficient and capable the next day. Sleep research has revealed that your brain maintains a sophisticated monitoring system that continues to process important environmental information even during deep sleep stages, while most external music stimuli are filtered out to preserve sleep. Your brain maintains the ability to detect personally relevant, sounds like your own name or a baby's cry. This selective music processing occurs in the thalamus, which acts as a gatekeeper, evaluating incoming sensory information and deciding whether it warrants awakening. The criteria for breakthrough stimuli change based on music, sleep stage, personal relevance, and individual sleep needs. Parents often develop enhanced sensitivity to their children's sounds while remaining oblivious to equally loud but irrelevant noises. This system represents an elegant evolutionary solution that allows for restorative sleep while maintaining vigilance for truly important environmental changes. Your sleeping brain never completely disconnects from the world around you. You're still here with me. Thoughts still flickering like gentle candle. Light. Just notice. Don't judge. Just notice where your mind is right now. We're exploring consciousness itself, the very thing doing the exploring at this moment. Strange, beautiful, and perfectly calm. Let's drift onward together through these sleep mysteries as we continue deeper into understanding sleep. Your brain's music sense of self undergoes profound alterations during the transition from wakefulness to sleep. The neural networks responsible for self-awareness gradually diminish in activity. The medial, prefrontal cortex, and posterior cingulate cortex, key components of the brain's default mode network that maintains your sense of continuous identity, begin to disconnect and fragment as sleep deepens. This dissolution of self-awareness explains why the boundary between yourself and your dream experiences often becomes blurred during sleep. You might find yourself in impossible situations, music, or inhabiting different identities within dreams without questioning these inconsistencies. Recent research suggests that this temporary loss of rigid music, self-identity during sleep may actually be beneficial, allowing for more flexible thinking and creative problem solving upon awakening. The brain's language processing centers, music show remarkable changes during sleep that influence how we experience and remember dream conversations. While awake, language processing is primarily dominated by the left hemisphere, with specific regions like Broca's and Warri's areas handling speech, production and comprehension. During REM sleep, these language centers show altered activation patterns, often with increased right hemisphere involvement. This shift may explain why dream music conversations often have a poetic, symbolic, or emotionally rich quality that differs from normal waking speech. People sometimes report understanding languages in dreams music that they don't speak fluently when awake, suggesting that sleep unlocks different pathways for linguistic music processing. The dreaming brain seems to prioritize emotional and associative meaning over grammatical precision. Sleep timing and quality directly influence your brain's production of growth hormone, which plays crucial roles in neural repair and memory consolidation. Growth hormone release follows a calm, predictable pattern with music, the largest surge occurring during the first episode of slow-wave sleep, typically within the first 90 minutes to 2 hours after falling asleep. This hormone, music, stimulates protein synthesis in brain cells, helping repair cellular damage accumulated during waking hours and supporting the growth of new neural connections. Research shows that people who consistently get high-quality sleep maintain better cognitive function and memory performance as they age, partly due to optimal growth hormone release patterns. Disrupted sleep, particularly reduced slow-wave sleep, can impair growth hormone production and compromise the brain's nightly repair processes. The brain's visual imagery during dreams appears to be constructed using the same neural pathways that process real visual experiences, creating remarkably detailed and convincing virtual environments. The primary visual cortex, located in the occipital lobe, shows activation patterns during REM sleep, music that closely resemble those seen during actual visual perception. This internal visual system can generate complex scenes complete with lighting, shadows, movement, and spatial relationships that feel entirely realistic within the dream context. Brain imaging studies reveal that different types of dream imagery activate specific visual processing areas. Dreams involving faces activate the fusify for face area, while dreams with motion music activate the middle temporal area. This suggests that your brain literally creates a virtual reality experience using the same machinery it uses music to process the waking visual world. Your brain's emotional memory processing during music sleep involves a complex interplay between the hippocampus, amygdala, and prefrontal cortex that helps integrate emotional experiences, music into long-term memory networks. During REM sleep, the amygdala remains active but operates under different neurochemical conditions than during wakefulness, with significantly reduced levels of stress-related neurotransmitters like norepinephrine. This creates an optimal environment for processing emotional memories without the overwhelming physiological arousal that might occur during waking recall. Research shows that emotional memories processed during sleep often retain their factual music content while losing some of their emotional intensity, suggesting that sleep serves a natural therapeutic function. This process may explain why advice to sleep on music before making important emotional decisions has scientific validity. The discovery of mirror neurons in the brain has revealed interesting connections to dream music experiences, particularly dreams involving social interactions and observing others' actions. Mirror neurons fire both music when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing the same action, creating neural templates for understanding music, others' behavior. During REM sleep, these mirror neuron systems remain active and may contribute to the social complexity and emotional resonance of dream Interactions. Dreams often involve detailed social scenarios with realistic emotional responses. Music. Even when the dream characters are entirely imaginary, the activation of mirror neuron networks during sleep may help the brain rehearse social situations and emotional responses, contributing to emotional intelligence and social learning. Your dreaming brain continues to practice social cognition even while you sleep. The brain's prediction systems, which normally help you anticipate and prepare for future events during wakefulness, undergo fascinating modifications during sleep that may contribute to dream music, narrative, and symbolic content. These predictive networks, primarily located in the prefrontal cortex and anterior cingulate, remain active during REM sleep, but operate under altered neurochemical conditions without the normal constraints of sensory input and logical checking systems. The brain's predictive machinery may generate elaborate scenarios and symbolic representations that feel meaningful within the dream context. Research suggests that dreams might serve as a safe practice space where the brain can explore different scenarios and responses without real-world consequences. This predictive music processing during sleep may help prepare you for challenging situations or work through complex emotional scenarios in a music-protected environment. Sleep's role in brain maintenance extends beyond just removing cellular debris to include optimizing the brain's chemical environment for next-day music function. The brain's drainage network not only clears away potentially harmful proteins, but also redistributes important neurotransmitters and hormones throughout brain tissue. During sleep, the flow of cerebrospinal fluid carries fresh nutrients to brain cells while removing waste products that could interfere with neural function. This nightly cleaning process is so important that chronic sleep deprivation leads to measurable accumulations of toxic music proteins associated with neurodegenerative diseases. Recent research shows that even single nights of poor sleep music can impair waste clearance for several days afterward, highlighting the cumulative importance of consistent high-quality sleep for long-term brain health. The transition between different sleep stages involves precise changes in brain connectivity that can be measured using advanced imaging techniques. During the progression from light to deep sleep, long-range connections between music, distant brain regions tend to weaken, while local, short-range connections within specific brain music areas become stronger. This shift from global to local connectivity music patterns reflects the brain's transition from the integrated processing required for consciousness to the more specialized regional processing that characterizes music deep sleep. The thalamus plays a crucial role in orchestrating these connectivity changes, acting as a central hub that can either facilitate or block communication between different cortical regions. Understanding these connectivity patterns helps explain why consciousness fades gradually during the descent into sleep rather than switching off abruptly halfway through our journey into sleep science. The answer to why your brain drifts into dreams is beginning to emerge clearly. Dreams represent the brain's sophisticated attempt to maintain, organize, and optimize its neural networks during the vulnerable period of sleep. Through the complex interplay of chemical changes, electrical rhythms, and network reorganization, your brain transforms daily experiences into lasting memories, processes emotional challenges, and prepares for future demands. The drift into dreams isn't a departure from consciousness, but rather a different form music of it, one that prioritizes internal processing over external awareness. Your brain doesn't simply shut down during sleep. It shifts into a specialized operational mode that has evolved over millions of years to maintain psychological and neurological health. Dreams are the visible manifestation of this essential neural housekeeping. And now let each breath, music, guide you to realize time is yours, flowing at its own gentle pace, while the vast universe of your brain continues. Music, its ancient rhythms, this moment, this second, your breathing. Listening is unique in all of existence, even when everything seems quiet. Your neurons are always dancing, with waves, vibrations, invisible connections forming and dissolving the space inside and around. Your thoughts is never truly empty. Imagine floating on a calm lake, but beneath the surface, there's always gentle current, always soft music, movement. Cherish this present moment, knowing that right now your mind is exactly where it needs to be, music in its journey toward rest. Now we continue, drifting into deeper understanding. Your dreaming brain operates as a biological simulation system, creating elaborate scenarios that help prepare you for real-world challenges without actual risk or consequence. During REM sleep, the prefrontal cortex's normal reality checking functions, music are reduced, allowing the brain to explore unlikely scenarios and novel combinations of experiences. This uninhibited simulation may serve important adaptive music functions, helping you practice responses to threatening situations, work music through social conflicts, or explore creative solutions to complex problems. Research shows that people who remember more dreams often demonstrate enhanced problem-solving abilities and emotional resilience. The brain's dream simulator appears to be particularly active during periods of stress or significant life changes, suggesting it helps with adaptation and coping. Your sleeping mind becomes a safe laboratory for exploring possibilities. The brain's memory systems undergo selective strengthening and weakening during sleep through a process that neuroscientists call synaptic scaling. During slow-wave sleep, neural connections that were heavily used during the day are preserved and strengthened, while less important connections are allowed to weaken or disappear entirely. This process prevents the brain from becoming oversaturated with information while ensuring that important memories are retained. The scaling process is influenced by specific music proteins and gene expression patterns that change rhythmically throughout sleep cycles. Research indicates that the brain can selectively target specific types of memories for enhancement, preferentially strengthening emotional memories, procedural skills, and information deemed personally relevant. This nightly music editing process makes your brain more efficient and your memories more meaningful. Sleep patterns and dream content show remarkable individual variations that reflect personal history, genetics, and current life circumstances. Some people naturally require more REM sleep and experience more vivid music, complex dreams, while others function well with minimal REM periods and report simpler music dream experiences. These differences appear to be related to variations in neurotransmitter sensitivity, music, brain structure, and genetic factors that influence circadian music rhythms. Cultural background also influences dream content, with research showing that people from different societies tend to dream about culturally relevant themes and social structures. Personal trauma, current stressors, and even dietary factors can significantly influence both the frequency and emotional tone of dreams. Your brain's sleep patterns are as unique as your fingerprints, reflecting the individual neural landscape shaped by your life experiences. The brain's temperature regulation system coordinates sleep timing through connections between the hypothalamus and the pineal gland, creating precise thermal rhythms that promote optimal rest. Core body temperature naturally drops 1 to 2 degrees during the evening hours, signaling to sleep, promoting brain regions that music, nighttime has arrived. This temperature decrease is orchestrated by increased blood flow to the hands and feet, which helps music dissipate heat from the body's core. People who have difficulty falling asleep often show disrupted temperature rhythms with insufficient evening cooling preventing the normal cascade of sleep music, inducing neurochemical changes. Environmental temperature also plays a crucial role, with the optimal bedroom temperature for most people falling between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. The brain's music thermal sensitivity helps explain why a cool, comfortable environment promotes better sleep quality. Lucid dreaming, becoming aware that you're dreaming while still asleep, reveals fascinating insights into the flexibility of consciousness and the brain's music capacity for self-awareness during altered states. Brain imaging studies show that lucid dreamers exhibit increased activity in regions associated with self-awareness and critical thinking, particularly the precious and dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. This activation allows for rational thought and decision-making within the dream context while maintaining the vivid imagery and emotional engagement characteristic of REM sleep. Research published in 2025 demonstrates that experienced lucid dreamers show enhanced connectivity between brain networks even during waking hours, suggesting that dream awareness training may have lasting effects on consciousness. Some researchers are exploring lucid dreaming as a tool for therapeutic intervention and skill practice in a risk-free environment. The brain's emotional regulation during sleep involves complex interactions between stress hormones, neurotransmitters, and the immune system that promote psychological healing and resilience. Cortisol levels naturally drop to their lowest point during the first half of the night, creating optimal conditions for processing difficult emotions without overwhelming physiological arousal. This low-stress neurochemical environment allows the amygdala and hippocampus to work together in reshaping emotional memories, often reducing their intensity while preserving important information. Sleep also influences the production of inflammation, regulating proteins that affect mood and emotional stability. People who consistently get good sleep show better emotional regulation, reduced anxiety, and greater resilience to stress. Music. Your brain uses the quiet hours of sleep to heal emotional wounds and restore psychological balance. The discovery of sleep-dependent music gene expression has revealed that thousands of genes follow circadian rhythms with their activity levels rising and falling. Music in coordination with sleep-wake cycles. Many genes involved in cellular repair, protein, music synthesis, and neuroplasticity show peak expression during sleep, particularly during slow wave phases. This rhythmic music gene expression helps coordinate the complex molecular processes required for brain maintenance and optimization. Disrupting normal sleep patterns can alter gene expression for days afterward, potentially affecting everything from immune function to memory formation. Research shows that shift workers and people music with chronic sleep disorders often display altered patterns of gene expression associated with increased disease. Music risk. Your brain's genetic activity literally follows the rhythm of your sleep, emphasizing how deeply rest is woven into fundamental biological processes. Sleep, spindle, frequency, and amplitude vary significantly across individuals and may serve as biomarkers for cognitive ability and mental health. People with faster sleep spindles, those oscillating at the higher end of the 12 to Chetterpad-Smith Hertz range, often show superior memory performance and greater resistance to sleep disruption. Sleep spindle characteristics also change with age, psychiatric conditions, and neurological disorders, making them potential diagnostic tools. Research indicates that sleep spindle activity can be enhanced through specific types of auditory stimulation during sleep, potentially offering therapeutic applications for memory improvement and sleep quality enhancement. The thymic circuits that generate sleep spindles are among music the most precisely organized in the brain, reflecting their importance in coordinating sleep-dependent cognitive music processes. These brief electrical events serve as windows into the brain's sleep architecture and overall neural health. The brain's creative processing during sleep music involves unique patterns of connectivity that facilitate novel associations and innovative thinking. During periods, brain regions that rarely communicate during wakefulness begin forming temporary connections, allowing for the unexpected combinations of ideas that characterize creative music insights. The reduced activity in the dorsolateral prefrontal music cortex, which normally constrains thinking to logical patterns combined with heightened activity in associative networks, creates an ideal environment for creative breakthroughs. Studies show that people often wake up with solutions to problems they couldn't solve before. Sleep, and that sleep specifically, enhances performance on creative tasks requiring remote associations. Artists, scientists, and inventors throughout history have reported creative inspirations emerging from dreams. Music reflecting the brain's enhanced capacity for innovative thinking during these altered music states of consciousness. Your brain's social cognition networks remain active during sleep, potentially serving important functions in processing interpersonal experiences and relationships. The superior temporal sulcus, temporal parietal junction, and medial prefrontal cortex, regions crucial for understanding others. Music, thoughts, and emotions show continued activity during REM sleep. This ongoing social processing may help consolidate music, relationship memories, work through interpersonal conflicts, and develop emotional understanding of others' perspectives. Dreams, music frequently feature complex social scenarios with multiple characters, realistic emotional dynamics, and sophisticated interpersonal interactions. The brain's continued social processing during sleep may contribute to emotional intelligence and relationship skills. Music helping you better understand and navigate social situations when awake. Your sleeping brain continues to work on the fundamental human challenge of understanding and relating to others. Sleep architecture changes substantially across the human lifespan, reflecting the brain's evolving needs and capabilities from infancy through old age. Newborn babies spend up to 16 hours sleeping, and about 50% of that time in sleep compared to only 20 to 25% in healthy adults. This high proportion of REM sleep in infancy corresponds with rapid brain development, synapse formation, and learning. As we age, both total sleep time and sleep efficiency tend to decline with older adults, experiencing more fragmented sleep and reduced slow-wave activity. Music. These changes may contribute to age-related memory problems and cognitive decline, but research shows that maintaining good sleep hygiene can help preserve cognitive function throughout life. Understanding how sleep needs change with age helps optimize rest strategies for different life stages. The brain's pain processing systems are significantly modified during sleep. Music, which may explain why sleep can serve as natural pain relief and why pain often interferes with sleep quality. During deep sleep stages, the brain's pain perception networks show reduced activity, while endogenous opioid systems, music, become more active, providing natural pain relief. This reciprocal relationship between sleep, music, and pain creates both positive and negative feedback loops. Good sleep reduces pain sensitivity, while chronic pain disrupts sleep architecture. Research shows that people with chronic pain music conditions often have altered sleep spindle activity and reduced slow-wave sleep, creating a cycle where pain prevents restorative sleep, which in turn increases pain sensitivity. Sleep-based interventions are increasingly used in pain management, recognizing that improving sleep quality can significantly reduce pain symptoms and improve quality of life. The brain's nightly maintenance through its drainage system shows fascinating connections to neurodegenerative disease, music, prevention, and cognitive aging. The accumulation of misfolded proteins like amyloid beta and tau during normal brain metabolism is efficiently cleared. During sleep, particularly during slow-wave phases, when cerebrospinal fluid flow increases substantially. Research, music, suggests that chronic sleep deprivation may contribute to neurodegenerative disease, music risk by impairing this natural cleaning process. Studies of people at genetic risk for Alzheimer's music disease show that those who maintain good sleep quality throughout life have delayed onset of symptoms compared music to poor sleepers. The brain's clearance system efficiency appears to decline with age, making high-quality sleep increasingly important for maintaining cognitive health as we grow older. Your brain's nightly cleaning process may be one of the most important music factors in preventing age-related cognitive decline. Dreams appear to serve important functions in emotional regulation and trauma processing, with them sleep potentially acting as overnight therapy for psychological healing. The unique neurochemical environment during REM sleep, characterized by high acetylcholine and low stress hormones, creates optimal conditions for reprocessing traumatic memories without overwhelming emotional arousal. Research on post-traumatic stress disorder shows that people with PTSD often have disrupted REM sleep and more distressing dreams, suggesting that normal dream processes help maintain psychological health. Sleep-based interventions, including treatments that enhance REM sleep quality, are showing promise for treating trauma-related conditions. The brain's capacity to work through difficult emotions and experiences during music sleep represents a natural healing mechanism that has likely evolved to help humans cope with adversity and maintain psychological resilience throughout life. So far in our exploration, we've discovered that your brain's drift, music into dreams, represents far more than a simple transition from consciousness to unconsciousness. Instead, it's a sophisticated transformation that engages specialized neural networks, precisely timed chemical cascades, and elegant biological rhythms that have evolved over millions of years. The dreaming brain doesn't simply rest, but music actively maintains, organizes, and optimizes its vast neural networks while you sleep peacefully. From memory consolidation to emotional processing, music, from waste clearance to creative insight, sleep serves dozens of essential functions that are impossible during waking hours. The drift into dreams isn't a departure from brain function, but rather its most remarkable and essential transformation. A nightly journey that makes everything else possible. Almost done now. Relax even deeper. You might be feeling tired now. That's perfectly fine. Breathe slowly. Feel the cycles. Your brain waves oscillate in their ancient rhythms. Alpha, theta, delta, like tides washing through your consciousness. All are circles, cycles, endless rhythms, like your breath. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. A small cycle within the vast universe of your mind. Most of your brain is empty space between neurons, like atoms floating in the immense quiet between music stars. So let go. Let all pressure, all effort dissolve, like thoughts drifting in the space of consciousness, unhurried, unresisting, simply existing. We'll continue with the final facts about your dreaming mind. Your dreaming brain becomes a poet of possibility, weaving together memories, emotions, and imagination into narratives, music, that speak in the language of symbols and metaphors, without the constraints of logic and linear thinking. The sleeping mind creates meaning through association, music connection, and emotional resonance. Dreams transform daily experiences into stories that often reveal deeper truths about your inner world, fears, desires, and unresolved conflicts. This poetic processing may serve important psychological functions, helping you understand yourself and your relationships through the rich symbolic language that emerges naturally during sleep. Your brain becomes both author and audience. Music, creating personalized stories that speak directly to your unconscious needs and concerns. Music, sleep connects you to the ancient rhythms that have governed life on Earth for billions of years, linking your personal rest to cosmic cycles of light and darkness. The same circadian rhythms that guide your sleep evolved in the earliest organisms, responding to the rotation of the planet. Every night, your brain participates in this primordial dance between day and night, connecting you to countless generations of ancestors who found rest under the music, same stars. This cosmic connection reminds us that sleep isn't just a personal necessity, but participation in the fundamental rhythms of existence. Your brain's nightly rest connects you to something far larger than individual consciousness, The grand choreography of life itself. The mystery of consciousness deepens during sleep as your brain maintains awareness, music, while creating experiences that feel completely real despite occurring entirely within neural networks. Dreams provide a unique window, music, into consciousness itself, revealing how perception, emotion, and memory can combine to create vivid realities. Without music, external input, the fact that you can experience sight, sound, emotion, and meaning during dreams demonstrates the brain's extraordinary capacity to generate reality from within. This internal reality creation system suggests that even waking consciousness may be more of a construction, music, than we typically realize, with the brain constantly interpreting and creating experience. Moment by moment, your brain's capacity for healing during sleep music extends beyond physical restoration to include emotional and psychological renewal that helps you face each new day with resilience, music, and hope. The neural processes that unfold during sleep literally reshape your emotional responses, often reducing the intensity of painful music memories while preserving their lessons. This natural therapy happens automatically, requiring only the gift, music, of peaceful rest to transform suffering into wisdom. Sleep provides a gentle buffer between difficult experiences and music, tomorrow's possibilities, allowing time for perspective, integration, and healing. Your brain's nightly renewal offers hope that each morning brings the possibility of feeling differently about yesterday's music challenges. Dreams may represent your brain's attempt to glimpse possible futures, music using memory and imagination to explore scenarios that might help prepare you for challenges and opportunities ahead. The predictive networks that operate during sleep create elaborate simulations that sometimes feel prophetic or prescient. While dreams don't literally predict the future, they may help your brain practice responses to potential situations, work through anxieties about upcoming events, and explore creative solutions to ongoing challenges. This forward-looking aspect of dreams connects sleep to hope and possibility, making each night's rest a time of preparation and anticipation for what's to come. The silence of deep sleep creates space for the most profound neural processes to unfold, like flowers blooming in the quiet darkness before dawn. Without the constant input of waking sensory experience, music, your brain turns inward to tend to its own needs, repairing, organizing, cleansing, and renewing. This silence, music, isn't empty but full of potential, rich with the subtle activities, music, that maintain consciousness itself. Deep sleep represents a return to the source, a temporary dissolution of the busy self that allows for fundamental restoration. In this silence, your brain finds the peace necessary for its most essential work. Sleep research reveals that rest is not the opposite of activity, but rather a different form of engagement, one that prioritizes internal processes over external responsiveness. Music. Your sleeping brain is incredibly active, just focused, music, inward rather than outward. This shift in attention from the external world to internal maintenance represents a profound wisdom built into the architecture of consciousness itself. Sleep teaches us that rest is not retreat but renewal, not withdrawal but rebalancing. Music, the brain's capacity to shift between outward engagement and inward restoration, provides a model for healthy living and sustainable music activity. Your dreams connect you to the collective human experience of seeking meaning in images, stories, and symbols that transcend ordinary understanding. Across all cultures and throughout history, humans have found significance in their dreams, recognizing them as sources of insight, creativity, music, and spiritual connection. The dreaming brain speaks in a universal language of symbol and metaphor that seems to emerge naturally from the depths, music of consciousness. This shared human experience of meaningful dreams, music, suggests that sleep provides access to deeper layers of understanding that transcend individual awareness. Your nightly dreams connect you to the ancient human tradition of finding wisdom in the imagery of the sleeping mind. The rhythm of sleeping and waking creates the fundamental pulse that structures human experience, dividing life into cycles of engagement and withdrawal. Music, activity, and rest. This basic rhythm provides the foundation for all other temporal experiences, work and leisure. Music, effort and recovery, learning and consolidation. Without the cycle of sleep and wake, consciousness would have no structure, no pause for reflection or renewal. The brain's need for sleep creates the rhythm that makes sustained consciousness music possible, ensuring that each day of awareness is supported by a night of restoration. This ancient pulse connects personal experience to the larger rhythms of nature and cosmos. Sleep offers a daily opportunity for transcendence, a temporary dissolution of the ordinary self that allows for transformation and renewal. During deep sleep, the boundaries that normally define individual consciousness, music, become permeable, creating space for change and growth. This nightly dissolution of the familiar self provides an opportunity for healing, insight, and evolution that would be impossible within the fixed patterns of waking consciousness. Sleep represents a tamwi, daily death and rebirth, allowing you to wake up slightly different than you were when you went to bed. This transformative potential makes each night's rest an opportunity for renewal and positive change. The brain's journey through sleep stages mirrors the deeper journey of life itself, beginning with alert awareness, moving through increasing depth and mystery, touching the profound silence of deep rest, then returning to consciousness renewed and music transformed. Each night recapitulates the fundamental pattern of growth and renewal music that characterizes all living systems. Sleep provides a practice in letting go, in trusting the process of dissolution and reformation that underlies all healing and growth. This nightly practice of surrender and renewal prepares us for the larger transitions and transformations that mark a meaningful life. Your sleeping brain maintains a mysterious connection to creativity and insight that has inspired artists, inventors, and thinkers throughout music history. The altered consciousness of sleep provides access to combinations of ideas and perspectives, music that seem impossible during ordinary waking thought. This creative potential emerges from the brain's capacity to form new associations when freed from the constraints of logical thinking and sensory input. Sleep represents a return to the source of imagination and possibility, a realm where new ideas can emerge. Music from the fertile darkness of the unconscious mind. Your dreams offer nightly access to the creative force that drives innovation and artistic expression. The trust required to fall asleep each night represents one of the most profound acts of faith in human experience. To sleep, you must release control, surrender awareness, and trust in processes beyond conscious understanding. Music, this nightly act of surrender, teaches acceptance, patience, and faith in the wisdom of natural processes. Sleep requires letting go of the need to control and monitor, trusting instead music in the brain's capacity for self-care and renewal. This daily practice of surrender may cultivate deeper wisdom about living with uncertainty and trusting in forces greater than individual will or understanding. Dreams provide a bridge between the known and unknown aspects of yourself, revealing hidden wisdom, forgotten memories, and unexplored music possibilities that lie beneath ordinary consciousness. The symbolic language of dreams often carries messages from deeper layers of the psyche, offering insights, music that logical thinking cannot provide. This connection to hidden wisdom makes dreams valuable guides for self-standing and personal growth. Your sleeping brain, music accesses perspectives and knowledge that are often unavailable to waking consciousness, providing a natural source of guidance, music, and insight dreams remind us that consciousness extends far beyond what we typically recognize or acknowledge. So, could your brain's drift into dreams change how you understand consciousness itself? Music, it already has, revealing that awareness exists on a spectrum rather than simply being present or absent. Sleep research has music transformed our understanding of what it means to be conscious, showing that the mind operates in multiple modes and dimensions. Dreams demonstrate music, that consciousness can create vivid, meaningful experiences without external input, suggesting that reality itself may be more fluid and constructed than we, music, typically assume. The sleeping brain offers a window into the creative, constructive nature of all conscious experience, both sleeping and waking. The peace found in deep sleep offers a glimpse of consciousness without effort, awareness without striving, being without doing. This effortless awareness that emerges in deep rest provides a model for states of peace and contentment that extend beyond sleep itself. The brain's capacity to rest completely while maintaining essential functions demonstrates the possibility of relaxed engagement. Music in all aspects of life. Sleep teaches that the most profound states of being often emerge not through effort, but through letting music go, not through doing, but through allowing. This wisdom extends far beyond sleep to influence how we approach all of life's challenges and opportunities. Your brain's nightly journey into dreams connects individual consciousness to something larger, the vast web of sleeping minds across the planet, all engaged in similar processes of rest, music, renewal, and restoration. Each night, billions of brains undergo similar cycles, clear similar music, waste products, consolidate similar memories, and create similar dreams. This shared experience of sleep creates an invisible bond among all conscious beings, a nightly communion in the fundamental needs of consciousness itself. Your personal rest participates in this global rhythm of renewal, connecting you to the larger community of conscious life on Earth. Sleep reveals that the brain's most essential work often happens in silence, darkness, and apparent inactivity. The visible achievements of waking consciousness depend entirely on the invisible processes that unfold during rest. This hidden foundation of sleep supports every moment of clear thinking, emotional balance, and creative insight. The brain's nighttime activities remind us that the most important processes in life often happen quietly without fanfare or recognition. Sleep teaches appreciation for the unseen work that makes all visible accomplishment possible, honoring the hidden foundation that supports conscious life. The cycle of sleeping and waking creates the rhythm within which all human experience unfolds, providing structure for growth, learning, and development throughout life. This fundamental rhythm offers a template for sustainable living, reminding us that all activity requires corresponding rest. All engagement needs complementary withdrawal. The brain's sleep cycle provides wisdom for pacing all of life's activities, showing that sustained performance requires regular renewal. This music ancient rhythm offers guidance for creating balance in work and relationships, effort and recovery, giving and receiving. Throughout the entire span of human life, dreams offer nightly proof of the brain's unlimited creative potential, its capacity to generate new worlds, characters, and experiences. Music, from the raw material of memory and imagination. This creative power that emerges naturally during sleep reveals the infinite possibility music that lies dormant within ordinary consciousness. Your dreaming brain demonstrates that limitations are often self-imposed, that creativity and possibility are fundamental aspects of consciousness itself. Each night's dreams remind you that the mind contains music, vast reserves of untapped potential waiting to be discovered and expressed. Sleep provides access to the creative force that drives all innovation, art, and discovery. The silence, music, that surrounds sleep, the quiet moments before falling asleep, and the peace of deep rest offers a sanctuary from the noise and complexity of modern life. In this silence, the brain, music finds the peace necessary for its most essential processes. This daily return to silence provides restoration not just for the brain, but for the entire being, offering refuge from stimulation and demand. The silence of sleep reminds us that peace is always available, that rest is not earned but given, that healing happens naturally when we create space for it. This nightly silence offers a template for finding peace within the challenges of daily life. Your brain's capacity to dream reveals consciousness as fundamentally creative, generative, and meaning-making rather than simply reactive or analytical. Dreams show that the mind naturally creates significance, beauty, and narrative even without external input or conscious direction. This creative nature of consciousness extends beyond sleep to influence all perception, thought, and experience. Understanding the brain's dream-creating capacity helps us recognize consciousness as an active creative force that participates in constructing reality moment by moment. Dreams remind us that we are not passive recipients of experience, but active creators of meaning and possibility. The trust and surrender required for healthy sleep cultivate qualities that enhance all aspects of life. Acceptance, patience, faith, and the wisdom to know when effort is needed and when letting go serves better. Sleep teaches that some of life's most important processes, music, cannot be forced or controlled, but must be allowed to unfold naturally. This wisdom of surrender learned through sleep helps navigate all music of life's transitions and challenges with greater ease and grace. The nightly practice of letting go prepares us for the larger surrenders that mark significant growth and transformation throughout music life. Each night's journey into sleep and dreams offers an opportunity to touch the mystery at the heart of consciousness itself, the miracle of awareness, the gift of inner experience, the profound mystery of being a conscious being in an infinite universe. Sleep connects us to questions that go beyond neuroscience to touch the music, deepest philosophical and spiritual aspects of existence. Dreams, music, remind us that consciousness extends far beyond what we can measure or understand, connecting us to mystery, wonder, and awe. Your brain's nightly journey into dreams is also a journey into the fundamental mystery of what it means to be aware, to exist, to experience the gift of consciousness itself. The real music change isn't in our understanding of the brain's mechanisms, it's in recognizing sleep as one of life's most sacred music activities, a daily return to the source of consciousness itself. Your brain's drift into dreams transforms each night into an opportunity for renewal, healing, and connection to the deeper mysteries of existence. Sleep becomes not just a biological necessity, but a spiritual music practice, a daily communion with the creative forces that sustain consciousness. In understanding the science of dreams, we discover that the most profound truths about consciousness cannot be fully explained, but only experienced night after night. Music in the gentle surrender that allows the sleeping brain to work its ancient magic. Your dreams remind you that consciousness itself is the music, greatest mystery and the most precious gift. And so our quiet journey through the mysteries of your dreaming brain comes to a gentle close. We've traveled from the electrical rhythms that pulse through your neurons to the ancient cleaning systems that wash through your mind while you rest. Music, discovering along the way that sleep is both deeply personal and universally shared. From the precise chemistry that orchestrates your dreams to the silent wisdom that unfolds in darkness, we've glimpsed how your brain transforms rest, music, into renewal, memories into meaning, and consciousness into the rich theater of dreams. Your dreaming brain reminds us that the most profound work often happens in silence, in darkness, in apparent stillness. Much of consciousness's essential maintenance occurs invisibly, quietly in the deep rest that supports every waking moment. Sleep teaches music us that rest is not retreat but renewal, that consciousness itself is both mysterious and miraculous. By pausing to notice these nightly processes, we glimpse the extraordinary gift hidden within the ordinary necessity of sleep. And now in these final minutes, take the music. Deepest breath you can, as deep as possible. Think about consciousness itself, yours, mine, everyone listening, all awareness everywhere. Perhaps all connected in ways we don't yet understand. You are not alone in the universe of minds. Let your entire being dissolve into the ocean of consciousness, into dreamless rest, into the space before thought. Prepare for deep music, sleep. No boundaries left, only peace. If this music thoughtful exploration of the mind made you feel less alone with your thoughts tonight, whisper it forward to someone else awake. In the darkness, it may bring comfort to one more wandering consciousness, one peaceful night at a time. But there's no need to do anything now, nothing at all. You've traveled far tonight through the landscapes of consciousness itself. You can allow these thoughts of dreams and neural rhythms to fade now, like morning, mist, music, dissolving in sunlight, leaving only the gentle calm behind. Let your breathing deepen. Let your body feel heavier, as if gravity itself is gently pulling you into the earth's embrace. If sleep comes, let it carry you like a boat drifting on a calm river, smoothly, inevitably into a realm where time and weight no longer matter. If your eyes are still open, the next video is waiting for you, ready to continue the journey. But if they're closed, stay there. Stay in the darkness that feels safe and warm. Tomorrow, your dreams will music still be waiting. The mysteries of consciousness will still unfold each night. But tonight belongs to stillness. Rest well, fellow traveler of the mind. And remember, consciousness itself is the greatest mystery and the most precious gift. Sweet dreams. Music, music, music.